Welcome to Marketplace Finds, where we show off some crazy and interesting cars for sale, judge what we think of the price, then order it in our tier list. This used to be a 1972 Dodge Challenger. Now it's just a Challenge to look at. From the outside, it looks less like a classic Challenger and more like something the DMV would condemn on sight. The front end appears to be built from scrap sheet metal and unfulfilled promises. I'm starting to think the whole front end got ripped off during a crash and the least certified repairer got their hands on it. The original faded blue paint and surface rust are battling for dominance, and the rust is winning by a knockout. Somehow the interior is even worse, as you'll find a floor made of welded scrap metal that the seller proudly says is ugly but works. Translation: it's sharp enough to open your mail. The seat mounts look like medieval torture devices, and the wiring setup could power a boat, a coffee maker, or a small house fire. And then there's the engine bay, or what's left of it. The engine's gone because it was running before the torsion bar broke, which feels like saying my marriage was great until the divorce. It's set up for a small block, meaning it's waiting for a new motor, or maybe divine intervention. All this can be yours for $1,000, wheels not included. That's right, it's BYO wheels, and hopefully you can wheel this poor thing to your local scrapyard to lay it to rest. Somehow, we're still finding these things. The Pontiac Fiero Lamborghini kits that refuse to die. It's like people in the 80s really believed they could build a supercar out of leftover Tupperware and blind confidence. This one's a 1985 Fiero that's been countached, proving once again that ambition and fiberglass don't always mix. From across the street, it almost looks like a Countach if you squint hard enough and just had a mild head injury, but up close, it's pure body shop cosplay. The proportions are all wrong. The nose looks melted, the roofline's a tax write-off. It's finished in primer grey, the universal colour of still pretending this project will get finished. Inside, imagine a Countach, then remove the style, luxury, and most of the panels. What's left is an empty fiberglass tub that smells like old resin and bad decisions. As for the price, the seller's trying to scrape back some of the money they spent on this money pit, asking for a huge $18,000, which is why it still hasn't sold in the last 23 weeks. This is a 1995 Honda Acty, the only pickup truck that looks like it should deliver sushi and win Best Aero Kit at Tokyo Auto Salon. Honda's Acty line was Japan's answer to how small can a truck be before it becomes a shoe, and somehow they made it both adorable and functional. This one's been dressed up in full Hello Special Aero glory, finished in white with red accents and enough body kit to scrape a speed bump at walking pace. Even the tailgate has its own spoiler, because nothing says hardworking mini pickup like downforce on a bed that can barely fit a golden retriever. The polished wheels tuck perfectly under the flares, giving it a stance that screams, "Don't touch me, I'm imported." Inside, it's pure Honda simplicity, manual transmission, right-hand drive, and an AC system that probably feels like a polite breeze. It's listed for $22,000, which is a lot for something smaller than a golf cart, and honestly, that's just far too much for a mini truck, even if it gets more laughs on the road than a clown car at grid life. As has basically become a weekly thing here, we've found another wild Geo Tracker, because apparently every single one of these things has gone feral in a different way. This time it's not lifted, chopped, or turned into a dune buggy. Nope, this 1991 Geo Tracker has been reborn as a miniature snow tank thanks to this track system. Outside, it's white, boxy, and perfectly at home in the snow, like a fridge that learned how to climb mountains. The new soft top keeps the blizzard out just long enough for you to finish your coffee before hypothermia sets in, and the back seat folds up for your dog or a week's worth of frozen groceries. It's priced at a huge $19,000, and even though the brand new tracks are worth around $7,000, I just don't see it selling for that much. If you've ever wanted to commute inside a World War II guilt complex, the Messerschmitt KR200 is your ride. Built by a German aircraft manufacturer who, after the war, wasn't legally allowed to make planes anymore, they pivoted to creating something even scarier, this three-wheeled cockpit of chaos. It's technically a car, but calling it that is generous. It's more like a motorcycle in a tuxedo. One wheel up front, two in the back, and a clear bubble canopy that makes you feel like you're taxiing for takeoff in your own personal sneeze guard. This particular example is museum grade, having once been a part of the Bruce Weiner Microcar Museum, basically the Louvre for tiny cars that make you question adult safety standards. It's finished in white and grey with a matching interior, all so clean it looks like it's ready to be shrink wrapped again. Inside, you sit in tandem like a fighter pilot and co-pilot, except your mission is to get milk without dying. Underneath, a 191cc Sachs single-cylinder engine powers the rear wheel, making around 10 horsepower, which sounds pathetic until you realise the whole thing weighs less than the average American Thanksgiving plate. It even goes in reverse, not through a gearbox, but by literally running the engine backward thanks to some insane German engineering. The seller wants around $50,000, and honestly, I have no idea what it would realistically be worth, but for such a rare and clean historic car, I could definitely see it selling for that much. This is a 2000 Ford Mustang convertible that's been lifted high enough to see its own resale value plummet in real time. The seller says it's on 28-inch dub floaters, and I know we all want a few extra inches, but that's definitely over the top. The paint job's worth $4,000, and you can tell because it's the same color as a melted Jolly Rancher. The convertible top looks like that pair of underwear I should have thrown out years ago, and the rims are big enough to double as kiddie pools. It's still rocking a 5-speed manual though, so somewhere deep down there's a Mustang trying to escape all this. The seller wants $5,000 or best offer, which honestly isn't terrible. Just rip those green M&M wheels off, patch up the roof, and it'll be fine. A few weeks back we had that Mountain Dew delivery truck turned into a lowrider. Well, apparently Coca-Cola fired back, and it came bagged, bodied, and diabetic. This 1984 GMC box truck now sits fully laid out on air suspension, frame kissing the grass, wheels tucked like a teenager hiding bad report cards. Outside, it still proudly wears its Drink Coca-Cola livery, weathered just enough to look authentic. The red paint's faded, the logos are crusty, and it looks like Santa's sleigh after a tough off-season. But under the crust, it's packing a 400 small block with a turbo 400 trans, new bags and shocks, and a set of 22-inch wheels that make it look like it's been photoshopped onto the ground. Inside, you're greeted by two red and white vinyl thrones that probably squeak more than the suspension. Move to the back and you'll find the airbag set up right where the Coke crates used to ride. Between the roaring small block and the hiss of the compressor, this thing probably sounds like Darth Vader having an asthma attack inside a tin can. $18,500 takes it, trades considered, so if you've got a Sprite van or a Dr. Pepper hearse, this might just be your moment. This 1972 Buick Skylark looks like it was dipped in molten Skittles and blessed by DJ Khaled himself. The seller calls it a custom bipolar paint job, which makes sense because one minute it's gold, the next it's grape soda, and by sundown it's straight up root beer. Those 26-inch wheels aren't rims, they're industrial turbines. The stance isn't about style anymore, it's just making sure you can clear your own ego. And special shout out to the seller's cinematic masterpiece of a video edit trying to sell it. Under the hood though, it's got a 5.7 litre Edelbrock 350, which is actually pretty damn cool, even if the Buick purists are somewhere clutching their factory air cleaners in horror. At $25,000, it's a little pricey for a donk compared to a clean original one. Ah yes, the 2008 Honda Civic, proof that even when you start with one of the most reliable cars on earth, some people will still find a way to make it cry for help. This one's rocking a supercharged K20 under the hood, which sounds cool until you realize it's permanently locked in 6th gear. The seller says it was daily driven until transmission issues, which is the Honda equivalent of I used to run marathons before both my legs gave out. From the outside, it's got the full project car in the woods aesthetic. The hood vents are shaped like a fat lady's leg spewing over the seat she doesn't fit on. Half the bumper is missing, and leaves are collecting in the engine bay like it's trying to compost itself. But hey, credit where it's due. It's supercharged, it's black, and it's angry. The seller was open to trade, but unfortunately, she's already been sold. Meet the automotive equivalent of a fireworks stand that learned how to drive. A 1996 Dodge Dakota drenched in candy apple red, covered in hand-laid flames, and shining like it just escaped from a SEMA booth and accidentally pulled into Burger King for lunch. This thing's been completely redone from the factory, and it shows. The paint alone cost $10,000, and you can tell. It's deep, glassy, and ready to burn your retinas off under direct sunlight. And then it's got chrome 20s, shaved handles with poppers, and side pipes so loud they probably double as personal alarms. Unpictured under that fire-licked hood is a built V8 with a mild cam, custom headers, and electric exhaust dumps for when you want to turn idling into domestic disturbance. It's got ice-cold AC, which is a huge bonus because in Florida, driving a truck literally covered in flames would otherwise cook you like a rotisserie chicken. At $13,500, this Dakota isn't cheap, but neither are fireworks, and they both make about the same noise and get the same kind of attention. This isn't just a Lincoln, this is a rolling mural that moonlights as a chiropractor's nightmare. A 1998 town car turned full lowrider, 6 batteries, 3 pumps, and 4 switches that'll make it hop harder than the kangaroo. The paint job is straight up museum worthy. We're talking layers of candy purple, pink, and maroon so deep you could lose your reflection in it. The trunk's rocking an airbrushed lightning god, which I'll probably get corrected in the comments because I have no clue what it is. 13-inch wire wheels and a chrome rear axle complete the look, just in case anyone within a 5-mile radius didn't already know this thing can bounce higher than your rent. It apparently runs good, though the seller admits it needs a tune-up, probably because the alternator's still recovering from powering 6 batteries. At $15,000, it's priced eye-watering high, but how else will you 3-wheel out of church on Sunday? Give me a hell yeah! This is a 1999 Ford F250 that's been lifted so high it qualifies for air traffic control. The seller calls it digging for dollars, which is ironic because you'll definitely need to start digging for your life savings if you want to fill the tank. It's 12 feet tall when lowered, meaning this thing can't fit in most garages or car washes, but would still only be a light snack for your mother-in-law. The paint job looks like a can of Monster Energy that got baptized in cash. The slogan "digging for dollars" is plastered across the side, makes me think of some sort of advertisement for a budget stripper bar. Underneath, there's over 60 inches of lift, 5-ton Rockwell axles, and 20-ton planet planetaries, which sounds impressive until you realize the suspension weighs more than some countries. It's got front and rear hydraulic steering, pinion brakes, nitrogen shocks, and a 7.3 power stroke diesel that sounds like it's actively suing the ozone layer. The seller's asking for a massive $90,000, and I get it, there's a lot of value just in the parts alone, but I don't think they're going to get that much. This absolute unit is a 2003 Ford E450 van pickup truck, which is already 3 vehicle types too many. It's 25 feet of pure Florida engineering, a state where apparently nothing is too long, too rusty, or too illegal to register. Have your sister sit in the middle and the thing won't be able to move. It's apparently built on a chassis for motorhomes, so the 12-foot bed is technically a feature if you consider parking anxiety a feature. We get no interior photos, which is definitely a huge red flag, but I'm dying to know what nightmare is going on inside the cab. It's listed for $14,000, which feels about $10,000 too high, but hey, it's from Florida, where vehicle logic goes to die.
Brother,
The Lexus LS400 was once the definition of smooth luxury, whisper quiet, silky ride, and a V8 that could glide through life like a tuxedoed ghost, and then someone looked at it and decided to ruin it. This LS has been stanced into submission. The suspension geometry now resembles a math teacher's worst nightmare, with camber so wild it could slice a tyre in half just by existing. It's now one pothole away from spontaneous airbag deployment. It's rocking coilovers on washers, a phrase that should send chills down any mechanic's spine, and even a raised engine and diff just to survive its own ground clearance. It's got enough custom work underneath to make an engineer cry. It's open headers too, because nothing says luxury sedan like scaring children in parking lots. At $7,000, it's a hard sell, but if your dream is to daily drive a car that looks like it's melting into the asphalt, congratulations, you found it. Meet the 2023 Jet Car Bugatti boat, a build that lets you flex like a millionaire and drown like a tourist. It's part hypercar, part jet ski, and entirely a cry for attention. The seller says it combines the sleek look of a supercar with the thrill of the water, which is one way to say we glued wheels onto a wave runner. From afar, it looks like a Bugatti Chiron that lost custody of his garage and had to live at the marina. Whoever did the body design does deserve some props though, because there's no way this was an easy job, even if it does look like one of those toddler cars. Inside, it seats 5 people, or 3 once the first wave hits, with fake leather seats and a steering wheel that looks like it came from a go-kart trying to impress a Lamborghini. The listing says it does 40 miles per hour on the water, which is perfect if you ever wanted to hydroplane and humble brag at the same time. For $42,000, it's by no means cheap, but overcharging the hell out of some people trying to flex on Instagram, I'm sure you'll get your money back in no time. Here's how the final tier list ended up. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, if there's anything to change around. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.